What is up, guys? Kevin Hale here on this Sunday night, September 3rd, 2023. It is Round of Shots, your live stream show that talks about Kentucky sports. Well, actually, Kentucky basketball, football, a lot of football. And we'll talk college football weekend. Weekend one this past weekend, or actually into this weekend, as there's a good game on tonight, and LSU, Florida State. Throughout the night, I'm gonna just get a status, if you will, on what Carrie Lewis thinks of Brian Kelly as her from the first time I asked her up until the end of the show. Let's see if any of that changes. We are streaming live on the YouTube channel. Again, Kentucky football kicked off its weekend yesterday. Ball State came rolling into town, doing the roundtable with Terry Brown and the whiteboard. Won by 30. Covered the spread. Spread was, I think, 25.5 at kickoff. Jay Hayes, Carrie Lewis, and her news. Guys, good to see you all. Happy holiday weekend. Hope everyone is doing well. Terry, what's going on in Iowa, baby?
It was the 3rd of September. Little temptations for us on that one.
Keep going.
Papa was a Rolling Stone. Not my Papa. My Papa was a good man. But no, great weekend, man. Football back at it. It was a great fall Saturday to watch football all up and down the aisle. Kentucky. Hey, like I said, no bad vibes, man. Like there's always things you can fix, but no bad vibes here.
Fair. Carrie, what's up?
Dude, Brian France is already down a point. They got to score 25 a game. They only scored 24 yesterday for him to get that contract, man. He's already down a point.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Did you see the scoreboard stop working after Iowa scored the first passing touchdown?
Yeah, man.
We're not used to it.
They only scored 24, so he's already down a point to 300 that he needs for his contract. Yeah, that's he's already behind. That's not good for them. But yeah, and college football is back, and I am all about it. All the games, all the time, everywhere. Because I have YouTube TV, see, not Spectrum, so I got to watch the game.
Got to watch the game.
Yeah. In multi-view.
That whole Spectrum thing was hilarious.
In multi-view.
What is up, Jay Hayes?
What is up? Is it fall? Terry
fall.
Like it was like 90 out there at Kroger Field. I got baked out there.
It was 95 here. The corn is popping in the field as we speak.
The leaves are falling, so it is kind of fallish out.
Corn is popping. I did make me some tonight, just to.
The state of Iowa thanks you for using the corn products.
That would be me, guys. Good to see you. Let's get this going. Terry, Kentucky football mentioned kicked off its season yesterday. Kroger Field, 50th anniversary of Kentucky football.
Yeah, first off, shout at 50th anniversary of Commonwealth Stadium.
The Commonwealth Stadium.
It always be Commonwealth to us old folks. But shout out to Corey Price for putting together. I think he had like 100 and something media folks.
61. He had 61.
61.
I was one of those people, so I appreciate that. Yes, he had 61 people.
61.
I failed him. I didn't get mine in.
I was working on it, but then my hand got swollen. But anyway, shout out to Corey Price, our man, the numbers guy. That number one, he was sharing the top 50 games in Commonwealth Stadium history, and then he got the top players in Commonwealth Stadium history. And it's great. It's one thing, if I can have a moment. I know the wins and losses haven't been there for the football program, but we've had really, really good players come through the program. We have had some dudes play. We have had some dudes coach. Again, I know the numbers haven't been there, the wins, but when we boost up Stoops, we don't need to kind of diminish those people that came before and really laid that groundwork, So all that being said, this is what I wanted, a game I could start doing stuff in the second half. This is what I said last week. Give me something where I can jump around and see some other things going on.
Are you playing the song while you're doing it?
What, jump around? I don't as high as I used to.
This ain't Wisconsin. Come on.
Oh yeah, like Wisconsin. But no, I think we saw some good things, but there's also things you want to work on. I think the timing with Leary, the receivers, was off a little bit, but that's to be expected.
Mm.
The defense, once they locked in, they played well. Had 2 scooping scores, but
Did.
an official.
We kind of got that back with that last touchdown.
Yeah,
It
is what it is. This is how you want to kick off the season. If you can learn a lesson on a 30-point win, take it.
Oh yeah, Carrie, we always want to. If you're going to improve on things that you struggled with in a game, hey, win by 30, and then point out those mistakes and improve on it. You were there. What was your summation?
I had my bucket hat on, so I didn't get as much sun as some people did. It was fine. It was fine. Yeah, I thought the offensive line, it still needs some work. That's a work in progress. It's better than it was last year. I hope Horsey's okay. He got hurt, so I really, really hope he's okay.
So we have no status on him because
I haven't heard anything. I don't know personally, but I haven't heard anything about that. He just got helped off the field. I think there were people saying he got carted off the field, which was not true.
No,
I thought he just got helped off the field.
I think on the TV it showed him on the cart, right?
Well, he got helped. He got helped off the field, but then he did get carted off.
Okay, so there you go. So I wasn't 100%.
A little bit of both.
A little bit of both. Yeah, there you go. I'll take
half
that.
Right,
half right. I did think it was interesting. So we had the big pass play to start the game, and then kind of went down there and got stalled a little bit. Had to kick a field goal, and I don't think it was my imagination, but there were some people that were not happy that we kicked the field goal right off the bat. There were some people. There's just some boo birds out there, and I was like, oh wow. Are we already turning on the coordinator already? Or are we already on the Liam Cohen already turning on him, right?
That would have been a Stoops call. I don't think it's Cohen making that.
Either way, people were not happy in the stands. And I was like, that's interesting. But 44-14, I'll take it for the first game. Sure.
Absolutely. What say you, Jay Hayes?
Oh, I got smashed. The heat was hot, but I love that. Congrats to Corey on the 50th. I do not call it Commonwealth Stadium.
Commonwealth Stadium hashtag not my Kroger Field. Period.
Kroger Field is winning. Commonwealth not so much.
Actually, Commonwealth Stadium did win, but that's okay. Yeah,
a lot of great people came through.
Okay.
They didn't win like Stoops is winning.
Okay. Well, we beat some teams though.
Did they get 10 wins?
Doesn't matter.
They beat Florida? Did they beat Tennessee?
Beat LSU. Beat a number 1 LSU team. Beat Louisville. Yeah, we did. Beat Alabama. The only time we've ever beat Alabama in history. The only time we've ever beat Alabama.
That's I'm
done arguing. That's fine. That's fine.
All right, love this. I love it. We're week 1 in, and
I call it Kroger Field, but
be careful, Jay.
People did come through.
Be careful. Carrie's going to turn that Brian Kelly, heat.
Right. But it was hot. Like Carrie said, there was some booing on I wasn't happy with the field goal. I mean, you're playing Ball State. Another take. Why did your starters play? Why did we only see 2 running backs? Like you're playing Ball State and Devin Leary played the whole game. Ugh, that's not good. But you saw that around the SEC. I mean, except for Missouri, their coach kind of did, got up and then. So it was kind of like what? But it is what it is. The offensive line struggled. Defense looked pretty decent. Run defense was great. Devin Leary was not accurate at all. First game, it is what it is.
Yeah, I'm kind of leaning with you, Jay. I wasn't dazzled yesterday, and I know it's the first game, but here's the thing: going into the first game, and we talked about this on the previous show. Devin Leary's way better than Will Levis. That was this narrative out there. Didn't show me that yesterday.
Well, I will say his pocket presence was great. Like, he wasn't bothered by anybody. I mean, like, he was calm, collected. So that's a plus.
And he hasn't played in a while.
Right.
I mean, I know we wanted to see some of the backups get in, but we're at that point now. Leary's got to get game reps, because I don't think he's played in did he miss most of last season?
Yeah.
So I've got no problem with that, because that's what we have to work on. If we have to sacrifice a little bit of development to get Leary on the same page, that way, Kevin can be wowed.
Dazzled.
You also risk another injury, though, doing that.
It's not an exact science, right? You got to balance out making sure to keep them healthy, but you have to build up. It's not easy. That's why Stoops makes the big bucks, and I'm here in my basement in Iowa, right? So
facts.
But
Devin Leary's stat line: 18 to 31, 241 yards, 1 TD, 1 INT.
He was 8 for 20 in the first half.
First half, I know, yeah. That one, that stat line in the first half. Yeah. But Ray Davis went over 100.
Looked good, ran the ball great.
But to your point, Jay, he was he played basically the entire game. He was there.
Yeah,
he was his scorer at the end to give us that 30-point So yeah, I'm with you. I was thinking the same thing.
Jutan barely touched the ball. Now
is Jefferson able to play? Is he healthy? Ramon Jefferson?
He's healthy. Maybe not mentally. I don't know. But
healthy. Yeah, okay. What else, Terry, jumped out at you yesterday?
The defense. They gave up that first touchdown, but looked like they buckled down. Got one scoop and score. Should have got the other scoop and score. Very aggressive. The front line is everything that we thought it was going to be. Again, I know it was Ball State, but those one of those positive things you can pick up and move forward through the rest of the season. So I'm stoked.
Alex Rayner, our kicker, 3 for 3 field goals. That was a nice stat line.
Yeah.
Receiving, Key, Brown, Robinson, I think they kind of got theirs. Khalil Saunders, I mean, his name was frequented. You mentioned, TB had mentioned his name quite a bit on the defense too. It was a solid effort, but I don't know. It was just for a 30-point win. And I'm not complaining, but I didn't just get, like I said, dazzled. But,
And sometimes that's all you get.
And sometimes
all you get is a 30-point win.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all you get.
That's all we get. Who we got next week? Is it Eastern Kentucky next weekend?
Yes.
They got
rolled by UC. It was awful.
Satterfield didn't put over 60 on them.
No, it was bad. It was terrible.
Looking ahead to Eastern, Jay, what are you thinking, feeling?
I mean, my predictions are outlandish. But even in the Ball State game, I wanted Leary to hit 315 at least. He did, and I think 241 or something like that. Still a pretty decent effort with all the struggles. And it's new. I think Stoops said it's going to be a minute. And it's what these games are for, for him to pick up the offense. But Eastern do the same thing.
Need to.
But I would like to see some more guys.
I'm with you.
Does that happen? Terry could be right with we need to get this kid going, and our other players going. But I don't know. And then you think about it like, well, then you got the SEC schedule coming up pretty decently soon. So do you really want to just play 3 cupcake games and have your starters just play every minute?
No, I get you. Like I said, it's a delicate balance.
Right.
Where do you kind of draw that line where it's comfortable
I'm in
enough?
the middle with you. Like I do think they need to get these guys going. We saw the struggle, but at the same time, no one's wanted to see an injury on the first game, and we saw that. And then, you play EKU, and then who after that?
Akron. 5th game of the year is Florida.
Right. So I'd like to stay healthy at least, but also get reps and get these guys going. So I'm kind of in the middle with it.
So, I mean, it definitely could have been worse losing, but again, it's we win by 30, and I guess you just go with it. And to everyone's point, kind of a first game back for Leary in a while, a healthy Leary. So let me switch gears. I'm gonna pull this up. We were giving some love to Corey Price for his stuff that he put together for the 50th anniversary of Commonwealth / Kroger. Check out I don't know if y'all can see this. I know it might be a little tough. Let me try to zoom in.
It's a little tough there.
It's a little tough, but anyways, some notables. He had put a thing out to a bunch of people. Getting the first, second, and third team players per position. Quarterback, Tim Couch first team, Andre Woodson second team, third team Jared Lorenzen. Terry, you buying, selling this top 3 in this particular order?
You got to have Ramsey on there.
Number 1.
You got to have Ramsey.
A lot of media folks dropped the ball on that.
You got to have Ramsey. I mean, still the best season we've ever had?
Derek Ramsey, right? Yeah.
Derek Ramsey. You got to have Derek Ramsey on there. I mean, Couch, okay, but Derek Ramsey's got to be on there. I love Woodson, and I think, and this may get me excommunicated, I think the thought of Jared Lorenzen is probably better than he actually was. And I try to tread carefully about that because, I try to be respectful.
It's fair.
But I think the feeling of him outweighs what we actually saw on the field. Because if you start off here on the last, 30 years and you go Couch 1, you have to go Woodson 2. Right. And I see a lot of folks, that want to push Lorenzen up there. And I'm like, Andre Woodson was really damn good. You look at all the numbers and he is right there. That's my thing. But yeah, to not have Derek Ramsey, it's criminal. To me, it is. It's just.
He was a name that popped up in my head when I was starting to try to do this.
You got to have Derek Ramsey as your quarterback.
Well, again, I think some of this it depends on who did their selections. Kind of like how you can tell their age. Maybe. So.
And it's hard. I try to be fair. I have voted in the Sports Person of the Year through the Herald Leader with Mark Story, and it's really damn hard. It is very hard to try to narrow these things down. So I try to offer a little bit of grace, but Derek Ramsey is a huge omission.
Carrie, what say you, quarterback?
Yeah, so I actually did my list. I did my picks and I sent them in, like he asked me to before the 25th of August. But Commonwealth Stadium sucks and nothing ever good came out of it. But here we are. First team, Tim Couch. Second team, I had Derek Ramsey. So yeah, there you go. And third team, I actually had Billy Jack Haskins as my pick because that guy was tough as nails. Tough as nails. I saw him with a separated shoulder run right towards me in the end zone as I was standing in the end zone in that Tennessee game that we should have won, with a separated shoulder, run for a touchdown. That guy was tough as nails.
That was like the 36-34, something like that game.
Yeah, we should have won that game.
Yeah.
It was super disappointing. But yeah, I had Derek Ramsey on second team.
Okay. About you, Jay Hayes, quarterbacks?
I thought it was a popularity contest.
Of course.
That's it. You said it. It was with age. It was the whole Jordan LeBron conversation. A lot of media folks that are of age didn't have Derek Ramsey, and it was criminal, like Terry said. But I mean, Woodson, Couch, you got those guys. Jared Lorenzen, I mean, he led the SEC in interceptions, I think. But it is what it is. It's a good thing all the way around.
Anybody, is there anybody in Stoops' era that could have come close to making the top three?
As far as quarterbacks?
Yeah, quarterbacks.
No,
I'm Carrie.
But
or no. Terry, or what do you say?
Well, I'm saying, I say that not to minimize, what Steven Johnson did for the program, what Terry Wilson did for the program, but it's like when you talk about the Hall of Fame, it's not the Hall of guys that you like, guys that it's an elite class. So I don't think anybody under Stoops, not even whatever Will Levis turned out to be, I would not put him above,
no,
those guys.
Jay, you?
Nah.
Yeah, same.
No.
Terry, running backs. I forgot how Corey did this, but there's 6 running backs on this list. Did he?
So you had to pick 2 running backs for each. So first, second, third teams, you had to pick 2 running backs.
Okay, I see. I'm just rattling the names: Benny Snell, Mo Williams, Mark Higgs, Sonny Collins, Chris Rodriguez, George Adams, Terry. Anybody to add to that list? Or
I mean, that's a pretty comprehensive list. You got to have Sonny Collins on it, right? You got to have Mo. You got to have Mo Williams, because that's mine, Carrie's era when we were in school, where it was give it to Mo right, give it to Mo left, give it to Mo up the middle, and hope that he dazzles you. So I've got no problem with that.
Penner, R2 Spinner, could he have been?
Penner, Raphael Little. I think there's some other names on there. The guy that comes on to antagonize us, I think A-Dot does not get quite as much love.
He was on my second team. I put him on second team.
Because his versatility, I think, gets overlooked because we look at straight running numbers. But it didn't matter where you put A-Dot, catching, running, I think he just gets overlooked. And I'm not saying that, to
because he annoys
or anything, but I just
he annoys us.
I've said that for a long time. It just goes back to we get narrow focused on the guys under Stoops, and it's like we had some guys before that, right?
Well, I mean, of this 6, only 2 were Stoops guys. But,
so I put my favorite player, my favorite UK player of all time. And seriously, I love this guy. And people are going to call me an idiot, and that's fine. A lot of people do, a lot of the time. Third team, Derek Homer. I loved Derek Homer. He was my favorite player ever. To this day, I still love Derek Homer.
So you loved him as a player?
Yeah,
but
I really did.
But in the history of the 50th, 50 years, he would have been in your top 3?
Well, he's on my third team.
Yeah,
why not? Yeah, I absolutely love that guy.
Anything to add to that, Jay?
Mo Williams, Sonny Collins for sure, but then you got to put Benny Snell, right?
He was on first team. Yeah.
Benny Snell and Collins were first team. Mo Williams, Rodriguez second team. Higgs, Mark Higgs, and George Adams third team.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's fair. But we've had some really good running backs.
Yeah.
Yeah, Penner jumps out at me. Boom Williams. Hey, one of my favorites. Receivers, wide receivers, first team. Craig East, Randall Cobb, second team. Wandale Robinson, Keenan Burton, third team. Lynn Bowden Jr., Derek Abney. Terry, buying, selling, please. Are you living with these?
Yeah, I think that's pretty good list. Going back a little bit, maybe Quentin McCord, some of those guys that But I got no problem with that.
Carrie Lewis.
Yeah, so that's exactly lines up with my first team. I had Randall Cobb and Craig East. Second team, I had Keenan Burton and Derek Abney. I thought, Derek Abney. And third team, I had Lynn Bowden Jr. and Stevie Johnson, just for the fact that Stevie got loose. I mean, I can't not put Stevie on there for Stevie got loose. That was just the most amazing thing ever.
Yes.
At Commonwealth Field.
Stadium.
Or Commonwealth Field.
Try to be cute and you drop the ball.
A fumble right before the goal line. I fumble.
Yeah.
Jay, what about you?
Yeah, I like Carrie's list on that.
Okay. All right. Jay agrees with Carrie. 1. All right.
You want me to write that on the whiteboard?
Please do.
It was the 3rd of September. The day I'll always remember. Because that was the day that Jay and Carrie agreed.
You get it, Terry. You get it, Temptation Terry. Come on.
Temptation Terry. Oh, I like that.
Yeah, this is 4 roses.
You get it, Temptation Terry. Come on.
I don't know if you can see there's a B on my glass. These are my dad's glasses that he got when he got promoted to sergeant. He just wanted to give him some fancy glasses. So I've got them, and this is what I drink my bourbon out of. So
nice.
Little shout out to my pops.
Papa B. All right. Tight ends, first team, Jacob Tammy, second, James Whalen, third, CJ Conrad. Tammy, yeah, he's probably my number 1. Terry.
Yeah, you got to go Tammy, and you got to go Whalen, because Whalen was first team All-American, if I'm not mistaken.
Damn.
That season. So yeah, I mean I think that's And Conrad just for that catch at Missouri.
Yeah,
because Missouri fans stay pissed about that.
That 100% lines up with exactly what I had on my list.
Your 3.
Yep.
That's yeah. Jay.
I'm in agreement. With that, but I will say that at Kroger Field, the best tight end room is there right now at Kroger Field, with all the wins that's happening at Kroger Field.
Naming rights have got us going crazy.
Yeah.
But one thing I wanted to we talk about where we want the program to be, not Jay Hayes, but Kevin. We talked about how many teams over the last 25 years have averaged 10 wins in the season. It's been 4, right?
4, yeah.
How many teams in the 130, Division I bowl subdivision series, whatever it is, how many teams have averaged 9 wins over the last 50 years?
How many?
How many would you think have averaged at least 9 wins?
Did we have this question last week?
Yeah,
it was 10 wins
10, but
over the last quarter century.
So it was 4.
7?
It was like 4 last week.
It was 4.
4 for the
9 wins over the last 25 years. This is 9 wins over 50.
Oh, over 50. 2?
5.
Uh-huh.
Alabama, Georgia, Nebraska, Ohio State, Oklahoma. So when we're talking about 9 wins being our floor, that's rarefied fucking air, man. Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
We talk about 10 wins being a floor or a ceiling. Like that, I just want to keep that in perspective when we start yawning over 30-point wins.
And Nebraska got all theirs in the 80s and 90s. So
yes,
keep that in mind.
yeah, because they haven't done a lot lately. But it's a very short list, is my point.
Right.
Yeah.
We think, getting the 9 wins, that's not that big a deal. Yes, it fucking is. Like, you get to a 9-win plateau, even in the expanded season, it's a big damn deal. But here we are, yawning over a 30-point win. Not impressive.
Right.
You know, there's a possibility this team could be 6-0, and ain't nobody gonna be impressed.
I will be.
If I'm 6-0, yeah, I will.
I mean, there's
6-0. Isn't that the Georgia that we?
If we're 6-0, we beat Georgia.
Well, we beat Georgia, but I'm saying we get to 5-0, ain't nobody gonna care, man. And that's just human nature. But I just like to point out that these numbers that we're getting close to historically, it's a very short list.
Very, very little.
Because there's no USC on that list. There's no Michigan. There's no Texas. There's
no
people
Ohio
that
State. Yeah.
There's people that live and die by football, and they're not meeting these marks that people are arbitrarily setting for Kentucky football.
They have titles, though.
Yeah, they got titles. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
no, I got you there. Okay, let's. I don't know. I'm definitely we don't have time to go through this whole list. Maybe we can look at the defense next week or so. But same with just from the offensive side, offensive line, center, anybody on the O line, Terry, anybody that stands out to you, who's some or one of your favorite O linemen?
I'll be honest with you, that's always tough because I don't know how you grade a good offensive lineman. I mean, I'd have to defer to people smarter than me to know what a good right guard looks like. Like, I see people when the NFL draft comes up, like, I hope my team drafts this right guard. I'm like, okay, like, no, I don't know what to tell you, so I don't know enough to be an expert on that.
Carrie, anything?
Yeah, those lines, the defensive and offensive lines were a little bit tough. So real quick, offensive guard and first team, I had Larry Warford and Dermontti Dawson. Even though Dermontti moved to center when he went to the NFL and perfected that pulling the pulling of the center with the Steelers. Second team, John Schlarman and Bunchy Stallings. Third team, Logan Stenberg and Dan Fowler. Tackles, I had first team Antonio Hall and Landon Young. Second team, Chris Comstock and Darren Kennard. And third team, Zip Duncan and Omar Smith.
Some names I hadn't heard in a while. Jay?
So I would go with Terry on offensive line. And then I will go with Carrie because she had Commonwealth and Kroger Field on that list. So we'll go there with that.
All right. Works for me. That's the offense. Let's we'll revisit the defense later. Getting back to the weekend, Terry. College football weekend. What number?
It's number 4, man.
Or 4.
This is 4 bourbons. Whatever.
Okay.
The point is, I love y'all very much. That's why I'm here. I mean, look, college football is great. Louisville won. Good for them. They're a little too excited to beat Georgia Tech, but good for them. Way to go, guys. I'm not going to steal Carrie's thunder because I know she wants to talk a little bit about Colorado and the on the field. I'm going to talk the off the field stuff about Deion Sanders. I love me some Deion.
Same.
Like, that guy he's like P.T. Barnum, a Hall of Fame cornerback, and now he's coaching, and it's fantastic. I loved his post game when he pulled out receipts. I don't know if you all saw my tweet, but this is what happens. Media folks like to get cute and cheeky when they ask questions, when they write things, and they get hurt when the people they cover fire back, right? They don't all go Skip Bayless, but they get a little too cute, like they insinuate that Deion's in over his head, because of the roster makeover. They say he's too flashy. That's not reporting. That's opinion to me, right?
No,
and so Deion, there's a guy there. He's like, I know what you wrote. Do you believe? Right? You saw that interview, right?
I loved it. Yeah.
Do you believe? The guy's like, blah, 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 blah. And all these media types, these reporters, like, we're not supposed to believe, we're supposed to report. Then damn it, report. Don't be cute and cheeky. That's what they always do, right? They always get cute with guys. I've seen Pat Forty do it with Cal. And Cal is a bigger man than me because I would talk about, well, let's talk about your suspensions at the Courier-Journal. Let's talk about your discretions. That's what I would say. If you want to say Terry Brown shot 2 of 10 from the field, that's reporting. When you talk about what kind of man is he behind the scenes, that's not reporting. So what you see is all these reporters like, no, we just report the news. No, you don't. You didn't with Deion. You said he was in over his head. You said Colorado was this, that, and the other, and he was a charlatan and all this kind of stuff, and he was a 20-something point underdog, and he won. And now you're mad because he's like, I know what you said. And they're like, well, he's doing it after one game. If they had gotten blown out,
exactly,
what would they have said?
Mm-hmm.
See, I told you. See, I told you. Yep. So, and one last thing about these reporters, right? My dad, God rest his soul, beware of someone that tells you how honest they are. Be wary of someone that tells you how how objective they are. Because an honest man ain't got to tell you. An objective man ain't got to tell you. So all these people like to get cute when they're reporting, but when the people fire back, now it's like, oh, I just report the facts. Now, man up, woman up. You said what you said, and now I'm bringing it back to you. So that's my takeaway from the weekend. Sorry to step on your toes there, Carrie.
Now that your toes are, he's off your toes, you can talk. Carrie.
Oh, I got plenty more to say. Yeah, I mean the Colorado game that was amazing. Like that was an amazing game. It was a great game to watch the end of. Now again, not to take anything away from Colorado, Travis Hunter. Wow, that kid's a player. Both sides of the ball. Come on, get out of here. Like that kid played like 110 snaps or something insane. Cornerback and wide receiver. You know, Shadur Sanders is the real deal. That kid can play ball. Period. But I do think they're going to lose some games. You know, I mean, they've already, you know, they've tied the total that Colorado won last year, which was one game. So, you know, that's awesome. And I think actually they will beat Nebraska, who managed to score a total of 11 points last week. So the Matt Rule era is really on a great track there. But yeah, you know, I think they're going to struggle a bit maybe with the middle of their schedule. But yeah, I like it. I like it. They came to play. They believed in themselves, and you know they put it on the field and they showed out. Now, is TCU the same team that they were last year? Probably not, but it doesn't matter because Colorado they came to play, right? God, so many good games. What a great week one. You know, just people scoring points all over the place. Oklahoma 76 points. I think that Butch Jones went in the car and cried at some point in that game. Yeah. Oregon 81 points. The Ducks' arms fell off from doing push-ups. 526 push-ups or something insane, right? The Houston, what an amazing tribute to the Oilers. Those uniforms were fire. And get out of here, Titans. You don't get to claim that you were the Houston Oilers and wear the same colors, right? No, at least Houston is in Houston. Wear the Houston Oiler colors, right? I hate that. If NFL teams bail and then they're like, oh, look at us. Yeah. No, like so many good games in week one, just a plethora, just great, just some really fun football. Hey, Beamer ball sucks. Beamer ball sucks. Beamer ball sucks. And I will cede my time to Jay.
Oh, yeah, Jay. First week or week
Good
one.
night, everyone.
How do you drop mic drop?
Yeah, that was a mic drop. Shit. How do you? Yeah, it was. I want to say it was some great games. We saw some football, basketball scores, but we also saw a lot of sloppy football as well, especially in the SEC. If you paid attention around the SEC, it was almost like the Kentucky
12-2, right? Oh, it was still a good week.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like the Kentucky game. I mean, 44-14. I mean, like in the Tennessee game, there was Kentucky vibes. It was sloppy.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Go ahead.
But you know how I am with media, especially local media. So the whole Deion Sanders prime time, I I was in love with it. I actually have some of the sound bites that I used on my podcast.
I figured you would.
Yeah. I loved it. I mean, I think I've been a fan of his for a very long time. So it's good to see someone who was doubted, someone who will talk smack, someone who is just a all-out great guy, human being, but still flashy, still has swagger, an older guy to be doubted and just to come through. That's, the underdog story I root for all the time. So I want to see him win. So that was really good to see, especially when he called media people out. I think it was a guy and a lady, both, that he was like, I got receipts, so I love seeing that. But
what was the big deal with Dion? Was it primarily just that? Didn't he kind of gut the program and then bring in basically all the free agents that he could from
with Dion? It's very layered, right? Because he was at Jackson State and HBCU. And so with most of the black reporters, they always thought when he was at Jackson State, he was using that as a stepping stone.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So they thought some of what he was doing was disingenuous. And we can get into that part. But my whole thing was every coach that starts out at a lower tier, I shouldn't say every, most coaches are trying to use that position to get to the big time.
But so Dion bankroll a lot of what went on there.
He did a lot of things.
Yeah.
He didn't do as much as he said he did. Okay. Well, to be fair.
Okay.
But my point is Dion's not different than any other coach.
Mm-mm.
It's the same reason Calipari is no longer in Amherst, right? He's in Lexington now, right? It's why, Bill Self isn't at, was it Bucknell, wherever he came from, right? Because coaches are trying to move. I thought because of people didn't like Dion the player, they automatically didn't like Dion the coach. And Dion the coach has been pretty good because as a head coach, he's not scheming stuff, right? He's that CEO position, and he had those dudes fired up. I don't know if you've seen the clip, Jay, of the pregame.
Yep.
He had those dudes ready.
Yeah.
And that's what your head coach is supposed to be.
Yep.
You've got other coaches to do the X's and O's and tactician kind of stuff. But hey, Dion had his dudes ready to play, and his son was fantastic. Like Carrie said, I mean, look, 38 of 47, 510 yards, and 4 TDs. The 510 passing yards is a Colorado record. Look, I don't know if
4 receivers over 100 yards.
I don't know if you all saw this tweet where this person was like, look, if my kid sets a record and we beat, a team, a ranked team that was the national runner-up, y'all couldn't keep me from talking shit. Let me tell you something. If I'm coaching and one of my girls does it like that on national stage, I'm letting everybody know.
Oh, yeah.
So I've got no fault with Dion at all. I think, like Jay said, a lot of
two of his players as well for Heisman who are first game,
right?
Who are very deserving if that continues, and how I would love to see a two-way player win it.
You kind of have to be a two-way player if you're not a quarterback, right?
Yep.
That's the only.
That's the deal. Yep.
I've talked about that forever, but yeah, hey, I love me some Dion.
Yeah.
But I do think Dion is on a different level because he did come in to Jackson State and stayed and helped that program and tried to elevate it the best he could. And Ed Reed tried to follow in his footsteps. Ed Reed lasted 2 weeks. Ed Reed took a look around and left.
Yeah,
right.
He went to Bethune-Cookman. Yeah,
Dion's a different guy, right? I think he's in it. He's in it to win it, no matter what the program, what the shape the program is in. He will put his own money. He will put his own. I mean, I think Dion, he's just a different guy.
And a lot of the stuff they levied at Dion, every coach is about that. Coach Cal, Coach K, Bobby Bowden, they all have an ego. Like, ain't nobody out here doing it because it's Boys Town out here, right? What are we doing here? Like Dabo Sweeney can give you that all shucks country bumpkin thing. He's still cashing them $9 million checks, right? So that's the point that Deion's trying to make. Hold me to the same standard you hold everybody else to.
Oh.
You know, everybody else is making this money. Everybody else is hopping around. Y'all didn't hate Urban Meyer until he set Jacksonville on fire, right?
He's
Like,
coming back to Florida. You watch, money on the table.
You know, and all this kind of stuff. And for all of Deion's faults, he's not had. Again, look at the coaching staff at Texas A&M. A coach that killed a kid,
Bobby Petrino.
a coach that's on tape saying the N-word, and then Bobby Petrino and Jimbo
Welcome
Fisher.
back, Bobby.
Like,
Bobby.
look, you know, be like, coach, this coach is going to get canceled. No, look at Texas A&M coaching staff and tell me
I forgot
you can
about
kill a
that.
kid and still get a job. Now, that's a segue for you, Carrie Lewis.
Brian Kelly.
There we go. You know, where you can kill a kid and keep it moving. Like one kid ain't enough. We need a couple before we get you out of coaching. So I'm ranting. I'm sorry.
Florida State.
17-14.
Yeah.
17-14. Second half just starting. Okay. That's week one takeaways. Terry, in 2024 college football from a conference perspective is going to look quite different. Friday, the ACC officially approved California, SMU, and Stanford to 2024. Let's say you won about those three going to ACC.
RIP to those greedy kids are ruining college sports. Just, I'm not entertaining that. Like, if you tweet me with college sports is ruined because these kids are getting NIL for a couple $100,000, I'm out, dude. I'm out. It's always been about the money. You know, the stuff that separated the college from the pros, that line's getting blurred, right? It's all about the money. You can't have an Atlantic Coast Conference with Stanford and Cal in it. Like, what are we doing here? I do think we're going to move to something where football is its own thing because it's just not feasible for your tennis. I know people don't care about that shit. I get that, you know.
You're right. It's not
and all
for
this
any
stuff.
of the.
But sending, you know, the swim team from Stanford to go swim at Duke in the middle of the week, what are we doing here?
Mm-hmm.
This is not what you know. So football, I think, eventually is going to become its own thing. That's my 2 cents. It kind of has to. It doesn't even make sense for basketball.
Yeah, we'll get there. Carrie, what about your take on
that? So the ACC has to load up on as many teams from anywhere in any geographical region as they can get because they're getting ready to lose teams. One's on the TV right now. I think they're getting ready to lose about 4 or 5 teams, and they have to keep up a certain number of teams to keep their TV contract and some other money contracts. So kind of as Terry goes, it goes back to Terry with the money. But they got to load up on as many teams as they possibly can at this point. Yeah, we're going to go to about probably three super conferences, maybe just football. I think that's probably what it needs to be. And then everything else can be like, you know, Pac-12 can be Pac-12, but it's just Pac-12 soccer, Pac-12 tennis, Pac-12 Olympic sports, that kind of thing, so that they don't have to fly across the country. Or my idea is you go to virtual where you're playing like on the Wii or on the Oculus or whatever, which could be super fun, right? Especially with tennis.
Outside the box.
Right? Some of those other things. But yeah, I think that's where we're going. I don't think, I agree with Terry. I don't think basketball's quite there yet, but football's where the money is, right? Basketball's not where the money is. Football is what makes the money, and that's what pays the bills. So
one of these, I think it was SMU, because of I don't know how it was worked out, but they don't get any TV money for like 9 years.
I think they're still working off of that.
Did they do that to themselves?
No, they're probably still working off the
Pony Express money.
Yeah, the Pony Express.
But keep in mind, SMU's Pony Express is why the conferences are doing what they're doing anyway.
Yep.
That's a
when
great
SMU
point.
couldn't
Yeah.
play, and
Mhm.
Arkansas was like, well, we need to find somewhere to play. And Arkansas and then South Carolina joined the SEC.
Yeah.
That's what started everything,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
a few years later, you get the SEC championship game,
Mhm.
and then everybody else is like, well, shit, we're leaving money on the table.
Oh yeah.
And then everybody else has been trying to catch up with the SEC ever since. So thank you, Eric Dickerson and Craig James and the SMU, which
And
is my favorite scandal ever.
Texas and
Great scandal.
Yeah.
Great.
Great 30 for 30.
Yeah,
It
when
was
the
a
governor's
30,
like, we have a budget to meet. Like they were
Yes.
cutting checks.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't just here's a $50 handshake. Like they had a payroll department.
Also, great parody movie, Johnny Be Good with Anthony Michael Hall. Quality movie.
Oh yeah. Very
Below the radar movie, but yeah, absolutely, with a young Robert Downey
And-
Jr. in it as well,
yeah.
I believe.
Oh yeah. Jay, realignment. Real quick.
Yeah, I don't get paid, so I don't give a shit about it. Carrie said, I'm kind of like I don't care. Do them, you know.
But the good thing is we're Kentucky fans, and we're still potentially going to see Tennessee and Vanderbilt. We're going to play Louisville. But what if you're like USC and UCLA, where you've got some of these games, you know,
when it affects you is when you care.
Right. You know, and that's what I was talking to my wife about. Like Iowa is Big Ten, so they're still going to play Nebraska. They're still going to play Iowa State. They're still going to play who do they play for the pig trophy? Minnesota. Thank you, my lovely wife with the help.
Floyd of Rosedale. Floyd of Rosedale.
Yeah, there's a whole big thing about it, but
love Floyd.
Anyway,
Jay, in 2024 we get Texas, Oklahoma. Eventually, SEC is going to expand. Who's next up on your wish? Who's on your wish list for 2 to 4 teams? Or give me 2 teams that you would just. Schools. I say teams, but actually, see, that's the thing. I said
no,
teams.
you can't because of the market. It's not a team. I would like for Louisville to jump in.
I think Louisville
and Ohio State.
Do you think Ohio? Do you think that's viable for them to move? Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. What say you, Carrie? Who would you?
The SEC is like a high-end country club, right? They're very discerning, and they're going to take who they want to take, and you're going to be vetted out like crazy. And you're going to see they're going to want to see your bank accounts. They're going to want to see all the receipts. They're going to want to see your tax returns for the last 5 years. So I don't think maybe North Carolina, possibly, maybe NC State. Florida State possibly, but yeah, we're going to want to see those tax returns in your bank accounts before we let you in.
Who's your 2, Carrie?
Do you know what we want to see? This is how you know a good SEC team. It's based on historical racism. How racist was the state? South Carolina, the first to secede, you're in. Mississippi, yeah. Alabama, yeah.
What, Virginia?
Georgia, yeah. Virginia, capital Confederacy, you're in, yeah. The only outlier that we have is really Missouri because it's racist, but are you racist enough?
Maryland, right?
Maryland's pretty good, right? So it's based on your historical racism, whether or not you fit in the SEC. Louisiana, yep. Arkansas, yep. Come on down. Tennessee, you betcha. That's where MLK died. Come on down.
Well, but
yes.
If you're going to go there, Terry, I mean, you're staying in the South, right? But now I'm going to the North a little bit with Boston College. Looking at some busing issues.
The racism in Boston is different. It's so bad in Boston that even the people in Mississippi like, damn. Y'all do it like that, like
right?
We say sir and ma'am, but y'all just do it like that. Okay, get on with your racist ass.
If we want to go down the historical road, I think we got to include that a little bit.
Yeah,
right?
I mean that what makes a good SEC school? Your racism, and I'm even including my home state, the Commonwealth of Kentucky. They have been trying to join the Confederacy since 1910. And people get mad when I say that, but I'm like, did you know the 13th Amendment that outlawed slavery did not pass the Kentucky legislature to 1976? Anyway,
sounds about right.
That sounds about that sounds
about right.
Like, you're from Kentucky. You saying that about Kentucky? Yeah, because I've been black in Kentucky for 45 years.
Before we
I should probably stop.
No, we're almost done. Before we go to round of shots, one basketball thing that's kind of out there, Jay, is Big Z.
Yeah.
The deal. We've got
academic ineligible.
Yeah. So is it? Are we too early to worry? Too soon to worry?
When Cal was on ESPN, he said he had 2 7-footers. I don't know if he was saying Ugana and Bradshaw, and not, but I mean, Kentucky seems to find a way with these kind of situations. They're really good at it. So I don't know. I know there's some problems with his visa and stuff. Because
he is not in the U.S. dealing with visa. Yeah, dealing with visa/UK admissions. Per Cal Tucker. So okay. And Carrie, anything? Huh?
Put that out.
Cal Tucker.
In Sandy Bell, I trust when it comes to the eligibility issues.
She ain't there no more, dude.
Is she gone?
She's been gone for years.
I was gonna say, I don't think I heard her name
years ago. Bless
All
you.
right.
2 words: Enos Cantor or Enos Freedom, depending on
I know. I was
what
just
area
thinking,
you're living in. But that's all I got.
That's still in my head.
Yep.
Okay. Good show, guys. Week 1, college football weekend 1. We'll wrap. Technically, it wraps up tomorrow. There's a game tomorrow night. Duke or 1.
Yeah, Duke and Clemson.
That's right, Clemson. We mentioned next weekend we got Eastern Kentucky, which definitely should handle them. And
another win at Kroger Field.
Kroger Field, racking up the stats.
Hopefully, Kevin Hale will be impressed with a 30-point win.
I will say, can I end it with this?
It's possible that I can be impressed with a 30.
It is because the culture, Mark Stoops has changed the culture, and people are no longer happy or okay with 6 wins or 7 wins.
Agreed.
So when that happens, you want more, especially competitive people. You know, Kentucky fans now are saying, yeah, that 7 wins is not good. No, we should win 8, 9. Now it's 9.
Mm-hmm. You look up and down our roster the last several years, visually, the eye test, we look like, a top tier, physically built program. Speed, it's talent is there. I'm with you. I think it, pushing close to 10 wins. The bowl game is a 10 win. That's to me part of the season. So yeah. Carrie.
I still call it Commonwealth though, really. so there's that.
What are people going to do when Rupp gets name changed? What are they going to do with that?
Yeah.
I mean, there'll be some, I don't know, but by then
somebody's going to write a check.
By then, will those,
of course,
really Rupp lovers be almost dead or dead? If they change the,
when somebody writes a check big enough, Kentucky will take it.
Oh, of course. All right, final shots. Terry, go.
Shout out to the Atherton Ravens field hockey team that won a field hockey tournament in St. Louis this past weekend. And if you're wondering why I'm bringing that up,
Atherton here in Louisville.
They're in Louisville. They're in Louisville. That's because my youngest is playing for Atherton, and she was very excited. They won a tournament there, a bunch of different teams, and so shout out to those folks. Also, to piggyback on that, Nebraska volleyball. What a great scene that was this week. 90,000.
Wow.
And I know we shouldn't say, what does it matter? But I got a text from my 17-year-old and 14-year-old was like, that's pretty cool to watch girls play. I know it's women's, but to watch girls play sports. And since I have girls that play sports, that's a big thing. It's something we say out here in Iowa. If you build it, they will come.
92,003 people watched that volleyball match. The most people will probably be in Nebraska Stadium this season. And it was a world record for the most fans ever to watch a women's sporting event ever.
It was great. All the video shots of it, the entrance as the team walked onto the field. I liked it because the coach came out and there was one player that was keeping it cool. She was like, I'm cool with it. And then there was another one that was like, this is the greatest thing ever. And so, yeah, tip my hat. Women's sports, that's that next frontier. So tip my hat to them and what they did there in Nebraska.
Carrie, your final shot?
So that was going to be mine, but that's okay, Terry. I had another one on deck, right? So speaking of writing a check, okay, for all the kids out there, if you've got FU money and you want to write a check to your athletic department, if you give your athletic department enough money, you can name the thing whatever you want. Because at Michigan State, a basketball player donated $32 million to the athletic department. $20 million of that was earmarked for a new football facility. Because the guy wrote the check, he got to name the football facility, and he was a basketball player. And he named that football facility the Tom Izzo Football Facility. So there you go. It's a lesson for all the kids out there. If you write the check, you get to name it whatever you want.
I mean, in fairness, that's kind of a big FU to the football program. From when you're one of your own.
You're up, Calipari. You're up, Cal.
That's what I think. Have Cal
$32 million.
Yeah.
A bunch of his NBA guys, all they do is just chip in, and Calipari's got his own.
Trust me, as somebody who works in the fundraising field for academia, if you write a big enough check, well, you can name it whatever you want.
What was the price tag on the Kroger field name?
It was probably a deal over so many years.
Yeah. But do we know?
I'm sure it's out there. Yeah, it's public university, so they have to put it out there. Yeah.
Got it. All right, round of shots. Doing this on a.
Did Jay get his?
Jay. Yeah, I didn't know. My bad.
You're just gonna leave me out. It's like, wow.
Rude.
I just don't have any sound effects to go.
Okay, well, I'll give you one.
Right.
A week before this Ball State game, we heard from Barry and Brown.
Week one, I'm returning one week on. Per return and kick return. You gonna have to play this back because I'm a run back. I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna run back and I'm gonna dance in front of my mama. You heard it. Don't kick it. Please don't kick it to me because it's gonna be bad. I might get the special teams coach fired if you kick it to me. I ain't gonna lie because I'm a return.
And Barry,
we didn't even talk about that. Yeah, go ahead, Jeff.
99 yards.
Yeah, I totally missed that.
He may be the fastest Brown to ever attend the University of Kentucky.
I
need to go back to the tape, but he may be the fastest Brown ever at the University of Kentucky.
But you got to be very confident in yourself to say they better not kick it to me because I'm taking it to the house, and he delivered. So
you might get your coach fired.
Shots to him, yes. Shots to him.
Yeah,
definitely.
I mean that was definitely the most exciting.
Yes,
moment.
It was.
And that's a great fucking moment. All right, guys. Good to hang with Terry, Carrie, and Jay tonight. Thank you to everyone in the chat. Appreciate you hanging with us. We got Eastern Kentucky next weekend at Kroger Field. Guys, you'll have a good night. Go Cats. Everybody have a good week. Take care. Peace out.
Happy holidays. Be safe, folks.
See ya.